The first part of any income section is potential rent. It goes by many names: gross potential rent, potential rental income, total potential rent, GPR, whatever it is. The one consistent word in there is potential. We are going to define total potential rent as the total amount of rent you can collect, assuming every unit is fully leased all of the time, and tenants never fall into arrears and never have to be evicted for non-payment. If you're thinking that total potential rent sounds like total hypothetical BS, you're right. That's exactly what it is. And the following videos are going to help us make it realistic. Let's look at a simple example. Here's a 5-unit, 100% leased property. The rent for each unit is $1,000. Whenever we work with numbers, we're ultimately going to calculate an annual number or an amount per year. So looking at the rents here, each one's $1,000. 5 units, that's $5,000 a month or $60,000 per year. Understand? Let's look at an example with vacancy. This is the same 5-unit property, except unit 1 is vacant. Now let's just say the market rent for unit 1 is $1,000. What is the potential rent here? You might be tempted to say $4,000 a month or $48,000 a year, but that would be wrong. Remember, potential rent is potential, not actual. After all, unit 1 could be rented for $1,000 right now. So factoring in that $1,000 for unit 1 gives us the same $5,000 per month or $60,000 per year. So remember, even if it's vacant, you have to make an assumption on what that would likely rent for. Don't forget that. Now, just to remind you, we're doing a 3-year projection with everything we do here. You could do 10 years, you can do 7 years, whatever you want, you can do it. We're gonna do 3 years, just like we have in the other videos. As you estimate potential rent for year 1, year 2, and year 3, it's likely that you're going to ask for more rent from your tenants. As you go about doing that, it's pretty easy to calculate an increase for year 2 and year 3, but I want to bring your attention to year 1. There's something different about it. When you buy the property, there are already rents in place, and they expire at different points throughout the year. So whatever it's currently rented at, you're committed to that rate. You can't go and raise the rents right away. There's a lease in place. So let's say we close on the property in January. Tenant A's lease expires in April. There's 4 months you can't do anything to that unit. And tenant B, that lease expires in September. You have to wait 9 months before you're going to be able to increase rents there. So be cognizant of that. And to further reinforce this, let's talk about tenant A again. We said no rent increases for 4 months. If you do raise the rent and they stay, you get a 3% increase for 8 months. And over the course of 12 months, you're averaging a 2% overall increase. So if you plan to increase rents 3% per year, year 1, you're not going to be able to do that if the tenant still has term on their lease. And looking at tenant B, you can't increase their rent for 9 months. You do a 3% increase for the remainder of the year, which is 3 months at the increase. Over the course of the entire year, you're only getting a 0.75% increase in rent. So if you're forecasting an increase in rents in year 1, be very, very careful. Now let's go see this in action.